Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. Today is Wednesday, 12th of February, and as always, we've gathered all the information we could gather this morning to bring you some headlines about our city, our state, our country, to connect the dots in headlines that or news items that don't make complete sense or that need a little bit of extra context. And we're here to take a look at everything you bring to the table, whether it is questions or comments or additional information we can get our hands on so that we can connect with each other and with Puerto Vallarta as a community of English speaking locals. It is a pleasure to get together with you today. And today is an interesting day because today I had to go and connect some extra dots so that the news make sense for all of us here at Coffee and Headlines. And I'm going to explain myself in a minute, and I'm going to tell you why this is important. I also would like to reach out to you today and comment on a little bit of the stuff that we're going through as we're organizing the Hands-On Vallarta Volunteer Fair and how we're dealing with challenges and expectations and whatnot. And I would love to get some viewpoints from you as to how to move forward in providing a very successful event. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to start with our news as always. Then we will get into this topic in a little while. As always, if you have something really important to say, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q because it allows me to see your comment standing out from all the others. If you are watching live for the first time, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter capital letter N at the beginning of your comment. That will let us know that you're new or watching live for the first time. We'll give you a nice little welcome. So we have news to share, and we're going to dive right into them after we get rid of this lovely blank screen. What is going on? There you go. So based on statements Mayor Munguía made at a meeting with key members of Puerto Vallarta's business community, the construction of a funicular of a cable car. What a horrible word. Well, you're looking at it. The construction of a cable car going from the new pier to be built near Hotel Rosita and the La Cruz vantage point up on the hill will become a reality during his administration. And if this is not making much sense to you, or if you've missed a few episodes or a few broadcasts, there is a new pier coming to Puerto Vallarta in Colonia Cinco de Diciembre, not far from Hotel Rosita. And of course, Mayor Munguía announced this funicular during his campaign. And all I can say about that is I'll believe it when I see it. These politicians are really good at making proposals, but then when it comes to maintaining and upkeeping the projects after they are inaugurated, that's a different story. Just look at the Los Muertos Pier and see how this funicular might function in our city. So I don't mean to be a skeptic. I'll believe it when I see it. And also, the municipal administration of our mayor is preparing an important project to transform the surroundings of the Bobadilla and the Coapinole Lagoon through the creation of a linear park that connects the Alfonso Diaz Santos Sports Unit with the lagoon. During a visit to the sports facility, the project was proposed, which will be presented in April of this year and will include trees, a track, and other facilities. Now, this would be awesome for the surrounding community, particularly when you consider that just 2 years ago, um, our former mayor was thinking of drying up the lagoon altogether and getting rid of it. So, to make sense of this, I do have a map that I want to show you, and let me make that happen. Do, 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 do. And the map is right here. Paco, sometime. There is the map. Okay, so here is a map of Pitillal, just to get your bearings. And there is downtown Pitillal, which we know. And there is the sports facility that I mentioned, the Alfonso Diaz Santos Sport Facility. There is La Lija, which is where we went to get our COVID vaccine and where we are going to go see the Lucha Libre when it takes place in town. And right there is the Coapinole Lagoon. So what the mayor is talking about is a park that connects this facility with this lagoon, which I think would be absolutely awesome for nearby residents because they would be able to, enjoy the surroundings. So we'll keep an eye on this. We hope that this actually happens because it would be a wonderful asset for the people in the Pitillal and surrounding colonias. Moving right along, the Municipal Council of Restricted Businesses on the sale of and consumption of alcoholic beverages of Puerto Vallarta. That is a long title for the group of people that authorize liquor licenses. Well, they got together and they recently approved a total of 65 of them. Of these, 33 correspond to changes in ownership or addresses and so forth, while 32 are new permits. Now, we don't know if these 32 are liquor stores or new restaurants or potential new happy hours, but hey, the city is growing and people got to drink, I suppose. And this one, according to the survey conducted by Pasillo Turístico, a specialized media outlet among travel agents to determine the most requested destinations during 2024, Puerto Vallarta continues to position itself as the leader in the preferences of national travelers. Well, not the total leader. Jalisco, the Puerto Vallarta, our city, ranked as the second most popular destination nationwide, surpassing destinations such as Mexico City, Riviera Maya, and others on the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, if you are curious like me, you're probably wondering which destination ranked in the first place of popularity. If you are curious about that, welcome to my morning work, because sometimes the news makes sense on their own. Sometimes I need to go digging for context because the news were not prepared completely to my satisfaction. I mean, if I was a reporter that wrote this news item, I would have gone searching for, I would have mentioned the top one, and they didn't. So what did I do this morning? I did a little bit of homework and digging and found out the website that published this survey. And what I learned from the website is that voters gave the first place to Cancun and Isla Mujeres with 32% of the preferences, followed by Puerto Vallarta in second place with 15% of the votes. Puerto Vallarta, of course, has been a favorite destination for a long time. But again, sometimes you don't realize, and why would you, that I have to go and connect some extra dots for me to be able to deliver the information in a way that it makes sense. Why am I mentioning this? Because we have another news item that fits this same scenario. This is one from the Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacífico. The Pacific Airport Group announced an investment of 3.6 billion pesos to modernize and expand the Puerto Vallarta International Airport over the next 5 years. The key project, as we know, is the construction of a new terminal building, which represents 134% growth in airport infrastructure and will double operational capacity. The plan also includes the construction of a 1.2 kilometer overpass that will connect the new building with the airport roads and improve vehicular flow. Now, this is all news that we already know. So, what are the dots that are missing here that are not being connected by this news item? And I read the whole thing. Well, it's quite simple. I read elsewhere that the airport in Guadalajara is also scheduling major improvements through the next 2 to 3 years. So, why is the timing relevant? Well, because the World Cup is coming in a couple of years, or little less than a couple of years. And Puerto Vallarta is not going to be a place where games are going to be played, but Puerto Vallarta will most likely be impacted favorably by an increase in tourism around the time the soccer cup is taking place. So, what do we do with extra visitors and tourists if we don't have enough hotel rooms, if we don't have enough flights, enough airport infrastructure, and enough roads to keep vehicular traffic sensible? Well, this is why a lot of these things are happening right now. And this is the kind of connection that I look for whenever I tell you about the news. And why am I mentioning this? Because this is only possible when we have your support. And I want to mention that earlier in the game today, in the broadcast, because you make all the difference. With your support, with your memberships, with your coffees, you make it possible for me to go and connect all these dots and bring you clear information. And I just thought I would mention that today because this is going on. And let's see, I have one more. Oh no. Nayarit is behaving badly again, although President Claudia Sheinbaum has declared on multiple occasions that beaches belong to the people. In Bahía de Banderas, our neighboring municipality, some citizens have denounced on social media that access to some beaches has been limited, especially in the Nuevo Nayarit area. And there's a rumor that access will only be allowed from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So citizens are complaining on social media that they were denied access to Villa Varadero Beach in Nuevo Nayarit, and that other access have been restricted in Banderas Bay or Bahía de Banderas. Why is this happening when people have constitutional access to the beach is a mystery to me. All I know is that between this and the state of Nayarit banning corridos tumbados and all that stuff, let us just hope that the state of Nayarit is not about to become a major headache for President Sheinbaum. And let us take a quick look at the weather just to see what's going on out there. Boom, boom, boom. Sunny day chasing the clouds away. Can you tell me how to get to the crack house that's down the street? Okay. Maybe I don't get that, but that's okay. It's 24 degrees out there. Humidity is low. Oh my God, 55%. Humidity is low, and the forecast says we're going to have clear skies in the morning with mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon. A high of 28 and a low of 16. Temperatures are slowly rising. Tomorrow, Thursday, will be a humid day with mostly cloudy skies with a high of 29 and a low of 16. And then Friday, we can expect mostly cloudy skies throughout the day with a high of 27 and a low of 16. Now, moving right along, let me see what is next. Oh, yes. I received a lovely letter from our lovely friend Gary Green from the Amapas Neighborhood Association. Here's our chance to make a difference. Check this out. Gary says, "Hi, Paco. If you have a moment tomorrow morning, could you help us with one final shout out for tickets to Rock the River? We're down to our last 10 tickets. And once they're gone, we'll be completely sold out. 10 tickets, says Gary. This event, of course, is a fantastic opportunity to support their Road to Safety initiative. And I'm going to post the website on the show notes where you can get tickets. Wouldn't it be wonderful if Coffee and Headlines was able to top, and by Coffee and Headlines, of course, I mean you viewers, if we were able to fill the cup for Amapas Neighborhood Association. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about what Amapas Neighborhood Association is doing with the proceeds for this Rock the River party, which is going to happen at the barbecue place in over there. I'm having a senior moment, but I'll put it in the show notes, I promise. But check this out. Here is the literature or a one-page banner flyer, I mean to say, that Amapas Neighborhood Association is distributing to promote their Road to Safety program. And although it's slightly verbose, I wanted to put this here because I think it's an interesting plan. And for those of you that are listening and not watching, I'm going to read the middle column. The goal is to raise 1 million pesos for essential safety enhancements. This is along Highway 200 in Amapas. The enhancements include addition of speed bumps in key locations, painting of crosswalks, installation of new signage and lighting, creating a comprehensive evacuation strategy to safeguard the community. Reno Los Pinos stairs, that is another staircase that is going, a renovation of the Los Pinos stairs, and installing railings along the rugged terrain between Amapas and Los Muertos beaches. So you see, Amapas Neighborhood Association, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I admire this nonprofit organization of Amapas residents because they get things done. And we can see it when we walk through the neighborhood. We can see it when we take the stairs that they have beautifully improved for us to be able to go up and down safely. So if I hear from Gary that 10 tickets were sold today because people heard about it here at Coffee and Headlines, you'll make my day. So let's make a difference if we can, and let's see if we can help our friends to reach this milestone. In other news, the Guadalajara Luz Festival, the Festival of Lights or Light Festival in Guadalajara, is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated events in our capital city this year, as Guadalajara celebrates the 483rd anniversary of its foundation. This edition promises an unforgettable experience with light shows, art, and technology that will attract thousands of visitors. The governor of Jalisco, Pablo Lemus, together with the municipal president of Guadalajara, Veronica Delgadillo, have announced that the festival will take place starting tonight actually, and will continue through the 16th of this month. During these 5 days, attendees will be able to enjoy a 2-kilometer route that you walk. This route connects the Metropolitan Cathedral with the Cabañas Museum, with light shows, interactive shows, and various activities. So this is a great event to witness. I was at the Light Festival 2 years ago in Guadalajara, and you essentially, you're out there walking at night, and everything is it's just stunning, spectacular. It's a beautiful festival. Hopefully you have a chance to be there, or if you are in the Guadalajara area, hopefully you will come out and check it out while you are there. This afternoon, we have the Spotlight at 4 o'clock. If you want to join us to watch live and in person from Café Rio at the Joint Boutique Hotel, we will be joined by Carmen Porras and Miranda. They're going to talk about the Mix Pop fundraiser. Nancy Holland is going to talk about the Vallarta Bird and Nature Festival. And these are all great pursuits. And we are moving along with the promotion of Hands-On Vallarta. And I want to pick your brain before we continue on to our chit-chat section. We designed this event to have a maximum of 12 organizations. based on the capacity of the room. We've also decided that if we don't get at least 8 applications, we will not have the event. The good news is that we have already received 7 applications. By the book, we should be very close to saying, well, the event is flying, but there was this requisite for the organization. You have to send us the web address where you are already publishing information for people to volunteer with your organization. And this information has to be comprehensive and detailed and user friendly. And here's where the struggle begins, because whereas there are some organizations that are really good at identifying areas in which they need volunteers, the qualifications that the volunteers should have, the times and days and hours in which these volunteers are needed, along with a detailed description of what activities are entailed. As a consumer, as a person that would want to volunteer for something that I'm interested in, let's say that I'm interested in plants, and this is not to say that, let's say I'm interested in plants and I want to work with a volunteer organization that plants plants. And I reach out to their website and I realize that their volunteer information is sketchy or non-existent, then I don't know that I would want to volunteer with someone that is not ready to know what to do with me if I choose to volunteer. So that is the challenge that we have in our hands, to say to organizations, yes, your information is comprehensive. You may participate in the event, but then there may be other organizations that just don't cut it. And that's a tricky situation because nobody wants to say no to an organization. But when you think about the fact that some of these organizations have been existing in Puerto Vallarta for many, many years, and when you keep in mind that a lot of them are continuing to recruit and raise funds in the same way they were doing 10 years ago or whenever they started, well, that raises a question in my mind, again, as a consumer. We all have our favorite organizations. We all have our favorite causes. But what I'm looking at is asking myself, okay, this organization sent this URL with a website, and I've looked at the website and I just don't feel the feels. I'm not compelled to volunteer. So I'm saying this because sooner or later we are going to be in the very uncomfortable position to give organizations feedback about whether they're doing a good job uh, uh, recruiting volunteers. Now, neither Angela Kelleher, my co-producer, and myself, we're no one. We're not the nonprofit organization police. We're not. We don't make the rules, but we are committed to giving you, the audience, the best opportunity to connect with volunteer organizations so that you can volunteer. So, what I'm looking for right now, after this very convoluted explanation, is what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on your expectations? What are your expectations of a nonprofit organization when it comes to wanting to volunteer? Are you turned off by websites that don't offer enough information? Would you rely on word of mouth? I'm just wondering where you stand in all of this, and if you are willing to just draft a couple of words or sentences on this matter while we look at your comments, I would very much appreciate it. Again, not in the spirit of chastising any organization, but encouraging the organizations to step up their strategy so that people can be well informed about volunteering opportunities. And now let's take a look at this.
Are you looking to give back but not sure where to start? Hands-On Vallarta is your chance to meet local nonprofits and find the perfect volunteer opportunity just for you. Join us Saturday, March 22nd from 12 to 3 p.m. at Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work. It's free. And if you're an organization looking for volunteers, we'd love to have you. Just scan the QR code to learn more, and let's make a difference together.
Yay! Now let's take a look at your comments. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Oh, I love a good typo. I love a good typo. And Albert says, whole from Centro. I love it. Well, good hole to you, I suppose. I see more hellos and good mornings, which I appreciate. Let's see what else we have. Oh, nothing like getting all bundled up in sweats and a hoodie for a 6 a.m. puppy walk through La Isla and beyond, savoring every one of these brisk Vallarta mornings as they will soon be a distant memory. I hear you, Logan. I'm quickly taking care of all my acrylic yarn crocheting before it starts getting too warm for acrylic, and I have to switch to cotton again. But I hear you. I hear you. It's getting warmer little by little. Albert says, regarding funicular, good luck placing the foundations in Centro right over my apartment. Well, there are funiculars in other Mexican cities, Albert. I'd have no idea how they would execute it. I would imagine it would have some touristic value to be able to hop on the darn thing. And but again, what has happened in Puerto Vallarta traditionally is that new governors come in here, not necessarily the governor as in the governor of the state, but new leaders, new mayors come to the city, they propose things and then they inaugurate them and they're all shiny. But not very frequently will they prepare a strategic plan for maintenance and upkeep. I mean, there is already a cable funicular that helps you get from the bottom of the stairs at El Cerro to the vantage point, but I don't know if it's running. And I don't necessarily want to have to walk all the way there thinking that I'm going to be able to have the funicular working or the cable car working without knowing that it is. What I'm trying to say is, again, I will believe it when I see it. Let's see what else we have. Oh, this is a fabulous suggestion. Logan says, Albert, you can hand the people raicilla shots as they pass by overhead. I love it. That deserves one of these. Let's see what else. More good mornings. Mark asks, is the renewal for Coffee and Headlines still automatic? The answer is yes. If you have any questions about your membership, Mark, just send me a quick line and I'll be happy to see when you're supposed to renew. Laura, our queen of question, asks, aren't most of the beaches public? I thought they were. Okay, I'm happy to dive into this because I think it's worth it. The answer is yes. Our Constitution dictates that no one can build private property on the beach. In fact, there's a certain amount of distance that you have to build from the beach. You cannot just build against the beach. There's a whole set of permits. Here's the situation. There are some beaches in Mexico that are favored by the terrain such that the only way you can get into the beach is by going through a building. Well, that's building and nature, but even then, by the book, hotels and condominiums need to allow for an access way between one building and the next. Case in point, if you look at the Sheraton, next to the Sheraton On the one side, there's an empty lot and a public beach access right in front of the stadium. On the other side, there's a driveway. There's a path that is gated. Well, by the book, as far as I understanding, for emergency evacuation purposes, hotels along the beach cannot build against each other. There always has to be a space in between buildings. So what a lot of buildings do is they call them their security entrances, and they gate them, and this is against the law. Okay, so you could attempt to head to the beach down that side of the Sheraton, and once you get to the gate, you could give the security guard a finger or politely say, well, the Mexican Constitution gives me the right to walk right through. And the guard may stop you, may not. There may be a scene, there may not. It's the way it is. But the short of it is, every beach has to have a public access in Mexico, and beaches cannot be privatized in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. Here's a comment. If I volunteer, I want to know what I'm volunteering for and where the money is going. Thank you. I wanted to hear that kind of a feedback. I appreciate that. Sunday can't come soon enough. 2 degrees here and no end in sight for the cold wave all night below zero, says Paula. Albert says, I only deal with charities that have a functioning website that clearly states what they do, how to volunteer, and where the money goes. Fair? Good pun. I didn't even notice it diving to the info on beaches. I didn't even notice I was getting punny, but thank you for noticing that. Boom, boom, boom. And I think this brings us to the end of the broadcast. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you very much for your feedback and your company and your puns and your typos and all the fun things that you bring to the table every morning. Thank you for supporting Coffee and Headlines. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for the occasional cups of coffee that you choose to buy. I don't like to mention them frequently, although I put this at the end of every broadcast, but you do make a difference. You do realize, I hope, that this is my income. And if you find any value in what I bring to the table, then you have the option of supporting what we do. You also have the option of mentioning what we do and spreading the word and liking and subscribing. And if that is what you want to do, that is very much appreciated. Other than that, I'm just grateful for your inspiration and keeping me purposeful here every morning. Have a great day. Maybe I'll see you this afternoon for the spotlight, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow morning. Regardless, I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.